Another beer group. Let's see, we got Molson's. What?
We got company.
Yes, he's dead! Oh, fuck! Holy shit!
Oh my god. Oh, I thought we were goners. How did you know I was wearing a bulletproof vest?
You're wearing a bulletproof vest? Awesome.
Wait, you didn't know?
No, of course I knew. I knew the whole time, yeah.
Pull over and let me out.
No, why?
Because you just used me as a human shield!
I did not! No,
Yes,
I didn't.
you did!
No, I didn't. Vicky, did I just use him as a human shield?
Yeah, you kind of did.
Okay, you're blowing this out of proportion, and thanks.
Pull over. Pull over!
Fine!
What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to Tactical Newbie, the channel where a newbie like me gets into all things tactical. With the funny movie introductions out of the way per usual, like we always do, let's get right into today's video. So today's video is going to be yet another tactical comparison video, a part of the tactical comparison segment of videos that I do feature on the channel. For those of you that are not aware of what the tactical comparison segment of videos are, it's essentially a segment of videos where I feature a brand name Gucci item and I essentially compare it to its budget-friendly clone counterpart, most of the items of which I get on either AliExpress or Amazon. I basically highlight the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between to at least provide to you, the tactical-minded viewer, or people who are looking to just get into the tactical arena, so to speak, a good budget-friendly option to an otherwise brand name item that tends to be a little bit more inflated in price. So that way, if anything, you can kind of help kind of bring down the budget of some of the gear and equipment that you plan on using, whether it be for training or whether it be for shit hits the fan type situations or anything of that nature, to at least provide to you, like I said, a fair enough comparison, at least based on my experience, of the two items. And again, like I did state, highlight the good, the bad, the ugly, and kind of at least provide you an option to go the other route if maybe the Gucci brand name item wasn't something that you necessarily wanted to spend top dollar on. But with all that rambling out of the way, let's get right into today's tactical comparison video. And the tactical comparison items that I will be featuring on the channel will be the Agilite GP Pouch, which essentially is just a standard GP pouch. I have been kind of at least highlighting a lot of these items, at least on a couple of videos. Obviously, for what a GP pouch is, essentially it's just meant to at least hold or to carry certain items that you're going to be at least using fairly readily, and at least to provide you quick access to get said items, whether it be on your plate carrier, battle belt, or anything of that nature. But this will be the Agilite GP pouch, and I will be comparing it to its budget-friendly clone counterpart, which essentially is the AliExpress / I think they do sell them on Amazon too, but just knockoff GP pouch. For those of you that can see, these two items are fairly similar on all retrospects. Of course, I'll get these items onto the table so that way you can get a better, at least, comparison between the two items, and again, highlight price points, and basically overall quality of the two items. Keep in mind that the tactical comparison segment of videos isn't necessarily highlighting which one may be better. Obviously, more times than not, you would probably get more bang for your buck if you do go the Gucci variety. But, you know, with current state of economy and just, you know, bills, finances, and everything that people generally have to pay for, if you could save, of course, a little bit of dollars across the board to at least buy something a little bit more budget friendly, at least in the interim, at least to get ahead of, you know, kind of training, maybe a couple classes, bullets, firearms, stuff like that. You can maybe use some of that on the back end to pay for those items. It's just well worth its weight in gold in some instances to be able to pinch where you can, save where you can, and then use whatever available finances onto other things. But with all that rambling out of the way, let's get these two items on the table so that way we can review them. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the other side. Alrighty, and away we go. So first we'll start by taking a look at the Agilite General Purpose Pouch, or GP Pouch. Retail price is $49.90, and we will be cross-comparing it to the AliExpress Clone / knockoff variant. Retail price for that is $21. Obviously, keep in mind when ordering at least the AliExpress version, you do want to take into consideration of shipping and handling and any additional tariffs that may be applied by products coming out of China. This is a cross-comparison price between the two products. Obviously, the $49.90 to the $21, which is giving you roughly about a $28 difference between the two products. From here, we'll take a look at the Agilite GP Pouch, kind of give it a 360-degree kind of look, as well as a breakdown of kind of at least the specs of the GP Pouch coming from Agilite. So the GP Pouch is a low-profile general-purpose pouch, obviously meant to store any sort of items that are you would deem essential without any sort of snagging or flopping. I think the main design was the way that angle of the side pouch allows for the flap to open forward and kind of allow you easy access to be able to grab what you need out of the pouch without any of the upper lips, like on top zippered pouches, to snag onto an item as you're pulling it out. It kind of gives you a little bit of an easier run to pull whatever essential item out of the GP pouch that you see fit. It has rear MOLLE attachment, 3 MOLLE slots across and 3 MOLLE slots down. It has a pass-through as well on the back, as you can see, meant for mounting onto belts, or if you have a small enough of a cummerbund system, you can also do it there. But obviously, take into consideration if you have it as the pass-through, it's going to shift if you don't have it MOLLE down. It has a built-in shock cord retention down at the bottom that gives you the ability to clinch down items with no wobbling or sagging. The shock cord within itself can also be a mounting area for a tourniquet. And then it also does feature built-in internal organization, which includes a loop area for attaching Velcro-backed inserts. So pretty much that gives you a full, at least, rundown of kind of the specs. When it comes to the sizing of the product within itself, what we're looking at here is basically 500D Cordura, mil-spec tactical nylon. Again, tactical nylon, take that for what you may with it. It has mil-spec webbing, YKK zippers, and a dragging handle. The sizing for all retrospecs is a one-size-fits-all, attaches to any MOLLE surface, and again, takes up to 3 slots of MOLLE, both down and across. Now, taking a look at the inseam of the product, just kind of giving a full internal view of the GP pouch. So basically, you have that interior hook and loop, at least Velcro availability. Again, if you wanted to insert any type of at least hook and loop Velcro inserts, you do have, of course, loops on the at least front side of the lip of the actual GP pouch within itself, obviously, so that way you can insert any type of batteries if they are the applicable size, or any type of smaller items that can basically be kind of at least retention down by those elastic straps. You do have a interior smaller pocket on that front face as well, and then obviously a little Velcro section on the front of the pouch to basically add any additional swag, or if you wanted to make it a med kit, you can obviously put, you know, the med cross or anything like that on it to kind of give it an identifier, or like I stated before, any type of additional swag. In all intents and purposes, it is just your basic GP pouch. There's nothing really to ring home for. I mean, I know a lot of companies at the end of the day like to kind of reinvent the wheel and try to make their own version of essentially a pouch that just holds things. For every manufacturer, you do have a different variable of different styles and just kind of sizes and everything like that. So with all that being said, there's not really much to ring home to about that. But we'll work our way over to the AliExpress Clone knockoff variant. As you can tell just by taking a look, just right off the rip, you do have the same at least front hook and loop Velcro at least attachment point to be able to add any additional swags. The layout of the at least GP pouch within itself is pretty consistent with the actual Agilite variant. Sizings and dimensions are pretty much on the board and pretty consistent as well. When we're looking at the rear of the GP pouch, as you can tell, you have the laser cut, at least slits in the back, obviously to MOLLE the items onto, again, a plate carrier or a battle belt. You have the same layout of those slits. Behind those slits, both with the Agilite and with the AliExpress variant, you do have this kind of mock thermoplastic behind to kind of give that rear face a little bit of rigidity, I guess. So that way it kind of has, I guess it's supposed to fight against any type of like drooping or slooping of the pouch within itself when you actually get it installed on a plate carrier or battle belt. Kind of give you a nice rigid face to adhere to eliminate any type of sagging, not slooping. Giving a full 360-degree review of the pouch. Again, you can see that you do have at least those both coincide drainage holes, as well as you have the elastic shock cord that goes through said holes to at least have the availability to at least cinch items down. Obviously, whatever you see fit. Most guys tend to throw a tourniquet on that, but you can put other smaller items on there as well. Both of the GP pouches also do have dual zippers, obviously unidirectional, depending on which way the zippers go. So that way you have the availability to open from any side of the pouch. As you can tell, you do have the loops on the interior of the pouch as well, obviously to hold items, as I kind of touched on with the Agilite variant. Smaller batteries or smaller items to be able to kind of be retention held down by those elastic loops. Both do have that front side pouch pocket for smaller items if you just want to stow them in the front side and maybe not in the main compartment of the GP pouch. Both the GP pouches also, obviously, as I did touch on with the Agilite, does have the hook and loop interior for you to put any type of Velcro inserts as you see fit. Again, it's for every person, it's going to be a little bit different. The nice thing about a GP pouch is that you can kind of retrofit it to your own desire, whether like you want to make it a med pouch or an all-purpose, standard GP that has all your essential items that you need to grab. Both of the pouches, which I didn't really touch on, do have these nice little clasps at the top of the pouch if you want to hook some claspable items like a set of keys or something that could kind of hook on to that, like maybe a smaller carabiner or smaller O-ring or a ring of something of some sort, so that way you can actually clasp on to hold them on the front or rear side of the pouch, so that way they don't get lost at the bottom, depending on how full that you stack up this pouch. Most guys, at least what I've seen on YouTube and some of my friends and stuff that I've talked to, they don't really like to shove these GP pouches out with too much crap. Obviously, the main purpose for most people, at least I would assume, for the GP pouch is just to have, again, your essential items that you want to be able to access fairly quickly without any type of hindrance or having to, kind of dig around at the bottom of the pouch for something that you need relatively quickly. So from here, we'll actually see the two pouches again, kind of sitting together, and then we'll kind of work from here our way over to do a full cross comparison of the pouches next to each other. So that way you can kind of see a one-for-one kind of layout of these two pouches and how they kind of at least look similarity. For the most part, both pouches are, at least design-wise, designed and mapped out almost exactly the same. Stitching across the board seems to be pretty good for both products. Obviously, one thing that you do want to take in consideration when buying any of the quote-unquote knockoff products from AliExpress is their QC might not be as on point as you would deal with some of the Gucci manufacturers. So you do have a higher likelihood of running into stitching issues of any sort, or missed stitches or loose stitches, and that could obviously affect the quality of whatever item that you are purchasing from AliExpress. So obviously, please take that into consideration. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a one-for-one comparison that you're always going to get a at least lower quality product, but it's a good rule of thumb that usually when you have a company or a manufacturer that has more strict QC or more strict quality control just in general for their product, you can almost assure yourself, at least in the long run, that there is a higher propensity that you will have a better quality product that will have a less likelihood of falling apart versus something that's mass manufactured and then distributed to a bunch of different distributors and then sold out all across the world. When we're looking at the dimensions of both the pouches, obviously you can see the similarities are pretty uncanny. It's almost on par to the at least similarities of the Spirit of Systems GP pouch and its clone counterpart. Obviously you can see there's a trend here with some of the pouches that I featured with this Agilite one and the Spirit of Systems. Both are the varying degrees of Ranger Green versus Coyote Brown. Obviously both meant to retrofit my clone and OG counterparts for the K-19 plate carrier and the tactical armament variant of that, and then the two battle belts, the magnetics from Agilite, and then the at least the magnetics knockoff that I got from AliExpress, which I did do a tactical comparison just recently. But all in all, like I said, cross comparatively, both of these products are pretty close in all retrospects. It's really hard to really kind of nitpick the difference between the two. You're going to get your commenters and stuff like that, like I tend to get when I do a lot of these tactical comparisons, that will point out that one of the biggest things that you want to take into consideration would be IR reflectivity, which I have touched on previous videos as well. It is definitely something that you do want to take in consideration. Eventually, as I have stated for a bunch of videos now, I do want to do an IR night vision reflectivity test on a lot of these clone variants of OG products. Hardest part for me is just getting my hands on night vision. As I did state multiple times before, I do buy all of these products with my own money. Eventually do want to work my way to nods and night vision. It's just one of those things that eventually is going to work down the line. It's just really, really hard, even on the cheaper end, for some of the cheaper night vision setups that I have at least seen for even for recording. It's at least looking at an investment of a couple $100 easy. So I definitely want to get a lot of these at least tactical comparisons out of the way while I still have the availability, because it is pretty cheaper to buy some of these cheaper pouches than it is to drop a shit ton of money on some of the more higher end, more expensive items. Still have a couple other plate carriers I still got to work through with both the Cry JPC and you know, kind of wrap up with the Faro Concepts FCPC. So I got to kind of work on those loadouts and build outs too, but then eventually get myself into the point where I'll get the night vision and then start kind of working my way back on some of these products to do IR night vision reflectivity. But all in all, between these two products, they are pretty similar in all retrospects, all things considered. Yeah, so just something to take into consideration.
I'm Ernie McCracken. When I found out little Billy here was growing up without a daddy, I had to do something.
When Big Ern saw our picture in the paper, he called the Unified Fund and got involved.
I had to. I couldn't help myself. But little Billy's not the only one. There's also a little Jason here. Once again this year, I'll be sponsoring a fatherless family in every city I bowl in.
Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, Mr. McCracken's already there.
Jonathan, we're on a fly pattern all the way to the goal line. Tennessee. Kentucky. Down the beach. Deeper, Jonathan. It's a tough world. These kids nearly got Munson, but they're back now. Through the Unified Fund, I found out that if you give a little, you can get back a whole lot more.
Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the video. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you think of today's tactical comparison video, a part of the tactical comparison segment of videos. For those of you that at least made it this far to the end of the video, of course, I hope that at least this specific video and all my other videos before this provided at least a little bit of a highlight of the comparison between these two items, the Gucci brand name versus its clone counterpart. Again, as I did specify at the beginning of the video, this isn't necessarily to highlight which one is better per se, but in the long run, just to pretty much point out that you do have at least a budget-friendly, affordable option to at least save a couple dollars on a specific nylon, at least, item. At least that's what I'm at least featuring for the most part over the last couple tactical comparison videos. Save a couple dollars on that item, so that way, hopefully down the line, you can kind of reallocate some of those funds that you would have obviously spent on the more expensive Gucci version into hopefully other things, as I did specify in the beginning of the video, whether it be firearms, whether it be training, whether it be any additional gear. If anything, it's helped to kind of bring that total cost down, because what you would be surprised, at least as you're kind of accumulating a lot of these items to build out a specific plate carrier or a battle belt, these prices really do add up over a prolonged or short-term period of time. And in any way that which you can save a couple dollars, or at least I can provide for you information to save a couple dollars, That's really my end goal with these videos. But with all the rambling out of the way, let's get into the same stuff that I get into at the end of every video. I do have a Twitter/X. Feel free to hit the link down below if you want to follow me there. I also do have a Patreon. Link is also down below in the description if you'd like to at least contribute any sort of funds to the Tactical Newbie channel via Patreon. Keep in mind that all the items that I do highlight in both tactical comparisons, tactical reviews, whether it be budget builds, Gucci builds, all the items that I feature on this channel are self-funded by myself. I do not have any brands or any type of manufacturers that are offering me money to highlight any of these items. They are bought and purchased by myself. They're reviewed, obviously, by myself, to at least provide to you a little bit of information down the line to hopefully help you guys save a little bit of money where you can, or at least even in some of the other items to highlight some of the Gucci items if that is a route that you wanted to go, to just go right the Gucci route, whether it be, you know, Pharaoh Concepts, whether it be Agilite, whether it be Spiritus, whether it be defense mechanisms. Those are stuff that I'm going to want to highlight down the line. Defense mechanisms specifically, I like a lot of their kit, but then also, like I said, highlight other items that are kind of either in the more budget area or even in the middle ground in between the two. But with all of that touched and basically reviewed with all of that, I will stop rambling and I will see you guys next week.